Hey everybody, I'm Amanda with DevExpress and welcome to today's webinar, What's New in VCL version 19.1, presented by DevExpress CTO Julian Bucknall. In this webinar, Julian will show you what's new in the DevExpress VCL subscription for 19.1, including extended support for right-to-left languages, Excel-inspired filtering, the new Office 2019 SVG skin and ribbon style, as well as updates to the FlowChart control, PDF viewer, and Ribbon Controls. This session is being recorded and it will be made available on our DevExpress YouTube channel later today, and we will also send the link to the recording in a follow-up email. We will also do a live Q&A at the end of this presentation. Just type your questions in the GoToWebinar control panel at any time throughout the broadcast. All right, thank you so much for joining us. I will now hand things over to Julian.
And thank you, Amanda, and welcome everybody to what's new in version 19.1 for the DevExpress VCL subscription. There's a lot to cover, a lot of great new stuff. So without further ado, I'm going to start where I mean to begin, with a quick, frequently asked question. When, where, and how, basically. So when is it available? Well, it's now available. I would ask, please, that you don't go dashing over to the download manager and download it now because, after all, I've got this webinar to show you. But it has just been published, so it is available now. Where do I get it? How do I download it? Which versions of RAD Studio, etc. are supported? Let me quickly go through those now. Basically, go to our website, devexpress.com. And you'll need to log in. So click the login link at the top right there, and you'll get a little dialogue saying, give me your email and password and all the rest of it. Once you're logged in, you'll be able to click on the My Downloads link there. You'll get this page. And if you scroll down, you'll get the product list. Yes, unfortunately, being CTO, I get to have every single product in the universe. But the VCL subscription, yeah, I took this screenshot a couple of days ago. So it still says the beta, but as I said, we've just released. So just download the exe and run it and install. And a few gentle reminders. DevExpress VCL version 19.1 is for RAD Studio 2010 or later only. Having said that, we no longer support C++ Builder 2010 because it doesn't support Delphi generics. We announced this, I don't know, a month ago, 2 months ago, something like that. So yeah, sorry if you're using C++ Builder 2010, not for you. And the rich edit control needs XE+, but if you're a 64-bit C++ builder, then you need XE8+. My recommendation is just upgrade to the latest version of RAD Studio. There's lots of new stuff. The whole IDE has changed, and it's a lot better than it used to be in 2010. So please use RAD Studio Rio. I will note that RAD Studio 2010 was 9 years ago. What were you doing 9 years ago? What was I doing 9 years ago, for that matter? I don't know. I can't remember. So I keep on having this discussion with the team as to which versions of RAD Studio we're going to support in future versions. So don't be caught by surprise when we announce in some future version that we're only doing, I don't know, let's say XE8 or above. Yeah, please upgrade. Anyway, a few gentle reminders there. And now a quick overview before I jump in with the various demos that I've prepared. Now, we've been adding support for right-to-left languages, or RTL, to our controls over the past couple of releases or so. It's a slow process, a steady set of improvements. And this time around, we've added right-to-left support to toolbars, menus, ribbon control, the pivot grid control, the vertical grid, or the property grid, as some people call it, the wizard control. So right to left, if you're into that kind of thing, I'll be showing you a little bit in a moment, is getting better and better. Next up is something I'm very enthusiastic about, and that's Excel-inspired filtering. Reason I'm enthusiastic is one of the things we're very aware of is the need to help you, our customers, create applications that your users can feel familiar with straight away. So we are always reviewing what commonly used applications do so that we can incorporate that kind of functionality into our own controls. And of course, one of the most commonly used application suites out there is Microsoft Office. Hello, Outlook, Word, Excel. And so we try to keep up with the features and user experience from that suite. Excel, well, as I said, definitely frequently used. I use it. Hey. And the new filtering is a great addition to our grid-like controls. Now, talking of Office, how about the new Office 2019 style for the Ribbon and Toolbar controls? A very welcome improvement. And still with that Office theme, there's our new skin, because we understand high-res monitors and how best to render information and images. Yes, it's SVG based, scalable vector graphics. You create your icons once only. There's no need to create 5 or 6 different resolutions of an icon, wasting your time from valuable development. And this time around, we've even doubled the speed of rendering SVG images. So just go SVG. Hey, even I can write an SVG image, create one. They look pretty bad, but they still work. FlowChart control gets a whole bunch of new features, and far better to show you them directly than try and describe them, because a picture is obviously worth 1,000 words. Spreadsheet gets some new APIs. You can read about them online. You can evaluate any formula expressions, not only those stored in a document. We can pass cell ranges in the A1 kind of reference style as string parameters to any cell management method, track visibility changes of cell comments and prevent their display, quickly reset a row, cell, column to its default style. And the one I really like is the ability to read or write rich text formatted content directly from or to a cell. Yep, rich text formats inside your cells. PDF viewer is proving a valuable control, I think, to our VCL customers. And this time around, we've added support for using and extracting attachments inside PDFs, as well as rendering markup annotations that may be present in a PDF. The filter box has made its way from the data grid to the tree list and vertical grid. Before you say, what is the filter box? I'll be showing you. And there's performance. We've been improving bits and bobs here and there. I mean, the spreadsheets, I talked about SVG performance improvements. In essence, we realized that you're using our controls to display more and more data, and you need that performance to be improved every single time. So yes, we do. And now, without further ado, some live in-action demos. Now, I'm not using the released version. It was only released, right before the beginning of this particular webinar. I'm using a late beta, actually from this morning, that is currently available, was currently available from our download center. Now, first up, I'm going to have to do this live. I've got all the other items pre-selected, but this time I'm just going to do it directly, as it were. So here's the demo center, VCL demo center, and all I'm going to do here is run the mail client. Now, the reason I'm running it live is because the very first thing that the mail client produces now is this dialog to say, well, which language do you want to use? You can either use English, or you can select a right to left support. Now, normally I would go for my normal language, English, or in this case, we're going to select, say, Arabic. So it's going to come up on my other screen, so I'm going to drag it over. Apologies. Here it comes. Now, this demo clearly shows the improvements we've made over the past year or so with regard to right to left languages. we have the ribbon at the top, the navigation control down here at the bottom. So we're emulating, if you like, Outlook with this particular mail client. The tree list is there on the right, and it works in a right to left fashion. I do know no Arabic whatsoever. I'm not a multilingual in that sense, and but you know, I can see what's going on here. This is the mail side of the demo. I can click here, and this is going to be the calendar. And the next one along is the contacts list. Again, everything's right to left. And finally, we have the task list and so on. So this essentially showing, notice the ribbon is changing every single time I navigate through this application. We've got a grid, obviously. This is a grid. We're showing spark lines within the grid. The column headers are right to left as well. So the grid is also supporting right to left already. If I go back to, say, the calendar, what I can do here is to say, well, let's double click this to get to the actual appointment. And as you see, the reason I did so is so we could see the edit controls within this are also right to left. And so so all in all, what I'm trying to get across here, it's an impressive set of improvements. And yes, we are kind of indicating that there is still a lot more to come. But if you're in the business of having to write RTL capable applications, so you know your customer base is somewhere in the Middle East, do please try out this latest feature set. Give us feedback on our work, and you know, if you have some ideas of what we really need to do for next time, please let us know. That's really about as much as I can say at this particular point in time about right to left. Maybe I should learn some Hebrew or Arabic or something. Anyway, second on my list of interesting new features, and one that's kind of inspired by applications we use all the time, is our new Excel style filtering for our grids. Now, I cannot emphasize this enough. I said it once and I'll say it again. One of the primary ways we think of features to add to our controls, or indeed of new controls altogether, is to look at what people are using right now and what they'd like to see in the apps you write. Now, the grid is the, if you like, the quintessential control. You look at tabular data and you're trying to analyze what it shows. And several features can help with that analysis. I mean, the main ones are obviously sorting and grouping. And in this particular example, we have sparkline charts. Yeah, there on the left. And a more important one, in a way, is filtering. You've got this big set of data. I don't know how much data is here in this particular demo, but there's a lot of it. And so one of the important ways to actually try and analyze what this data is showing you is to filter it in some way. So here's the filter icon here on the model price. So if I click on this, you can see the new Excel style filtering. Now it's a two-tabbed pop-up. The first tab enables you to select, in this case, a particular range of values. So I'm going from 60,000 to 100,000. So I can specify them directly. I can say make it 75,000 to 110,000, for example. And notice in the background the grid is refreshing itself. It's refreshing the data rows that it can show. And obviously in this case I can use the range control to do roughly the same kind of thing. So I'm not particularly bothered about the exact values, but I just need that particular range, for example. So let's flip over to the second tab. The second tab is, if you like, gives you even finer control in a kind of conversational sense of your filtering by providing standard filter expressions. So we have equals and does not equal and between and greater than, or the top n. Top n is always interesting. The top n values, or even as we do here, we have above average. So we actually calculate the average and we're saying, just show me the records which are above that average. And we're talking about the price here. So it's a neater way, in a sense, a neater way to, as I say, in a conversational sense, in a more English-like sense, to kind of drill down or filter those records that you're going to be seeing, to analyze the data. So yeah, let's keep it as above average here. We'll close that. Now, if I click on the sales date header here, this particular filter icon, we can see the same filtering capabilities, but now it's more geared towards dates. The first tab shows a tree of dates. And as we say up here in our demo options, we're using a tree view for date values. So I can, collapse the tree and say, I just want 2016. Okay. I can just click on 2016. And, 2017, 18 are all going to be blank. So I'm just seeing that particular one. And I can drill down if I want to within that. Or, and click on the second tab, I can do a more, I keep on saying the conversational side because, if you're in a meeting and you're talking about, your analysis. Yes, I had a look at the data for last year. Boom, there we go. This gives you a way of easily selecting that kind of fine-grained filtering control without having to worry about, well, when was last year? That would be like 1st of January to the 31st December 2018. No, just say last year. Boom, there we go. Let's close. Now I can also, it's kind of a couple of things I want to point out here. First of all is we have filters here, we have a filter here, but the filters are also available on other column headers, but they're not shown directly. This is because these are the filters that are active. So if I go to name, I can click on that one. This is going to be a text type filter. So again, we have it's just a pure list at this particular point, but the text filters, equals, does not equal, but we have things like begins with, or does not contain, or it contains, or is blank or not blank, and all that kind of stuff. So if I say, I really want to have a look at Camaros, there we go. Let's close that. So now I have 3 filters active. And so notice also down at the bottom of the grid, we have what we call the filter box. The filter box basically repeats what the filters are that are active. So we're saying the model price has to be above this, which is the average. The sale date has to be last year, and the name has to begin with CA. This is the filter box. I can turn it off. There are all the records. I can turn it back on again, and there are the records which satisfy the filter. So if I, for example, turn off the model price particular thing, so we just have sales data last year, name begins with CA. So we have Camrys now. So it's the filter box is the if you like, the subcontrol, the feature of the grid, which has now been ported over to the property grid and the tree list. And in fact, let me show you what this looks like on the tree list. Oops, wrong one. I've lost my... There it is. Apologies. Just hide that one for the moment. We're going to come to it in a minute. So the tree list, for example, so we have the same kind of data, and where the tree is basically going to be the model with the name of the particular car and all the rest of it. So we have the same kind of filtering. We can click on that. Excel style filtering. Again, we can do the same kind of things that we were doing before with the grid, but here we are inside the tree list. And this filter box has now been ported over to the tree list as well. So I'm saying the model price has to be between 50 and 120K, and the sales date has to be last year. So that is the the filtering, if you like, that has been ported from the standard data grid, the quantum grid, to the tree list. So Excel style filtering plus the filter box on all of your grid-like controls within the VCL subscription. Now, since we're tangentially talking about Microsoft Office, let me quickly show off some of the new Office 2019 related features. Now, first up, here we are in our rich text edit demo application. First up is, it's a new look and feel for the ribbon and toolbar. In particular, notice the way the ribbon now takes over the whole form, including the title bar. So here we have the title bar, and you've probably seen this in other applications as well, like Microsoft Office. This, the latest Microsoft Office 2019 does this. And if you use Visual Studio, then it does it as well. But now you can use it in the same VCL apps. So I can, nope, not that one. I need to get the right thing here. I go to Appearance, and I'll turn off the ribbon form. So this is the standard way of looking at a window. You've got the title bar, you have the close, the maximize and the minimize buttons, and we have this icon as well. But what we're saying here is the ribbon now in our VCL suite will take over the title bar. We'll show extra icons in the title bar. So a new item, open an item and so on and so forth. These are the, if you like, the standard ones that everybody uses and that kind of stuff. There's the title of the application. Yeah, sure. But now we have these ribbon capabilities also in the title bar. And notice, we still have close, maximize, minimize. We have this nice feature where we're saying just hide the ribbon. So we hide the ribbon, which I showed you just now. The ribbon's gone. I can click on the title bar and it comes back, and I click elsewhere and it goes away again. So you're maximizing the amount of space your application form actually has. Let me show the ribbon again and the menu. So that is kind of the Office 2019 look and feel to the ribbon. There's a couple of other things. One is it's kind of hard to show in via GoToWebinar, but the nice way that the individual items are highlit and then they kind of fade away as I hover around the ribbon and so on and so forth. So the other thing I want to show here is we have, these are all the skins we actually provide with our VCL subscription, but the new one is the Office 2019 colorful skin. Notice it's a vector skin. It's SVG based. All these icons are SVG based. And, they look good at any resolution. I'm running at 1920 by 1080 for the webinar, but I normally have, these are all 4K screens I'm looking at, and they look good at any resolution. And there's a set of color palettes as well, just to really have some fun with. You can change the base color, if you like, of this particular skin to have some, more interesting vibe to your application. So this is kind of a pine look, as we call it. So it's kind of fun. So that's Office 2019 skin. And next to the ribbon, we have this search function. So say you're a user of this demo application, okay, and you want to preview the print of your document, but you can't remember where in this ribbon, the preview is found. I can never remember half of these things anyway. So what you do is we have a search function. We search for functionality. We search for options, menu options or ribbon options. So I want to look for preview. And as I start typing, or the ribbon, I should say, provides the list of items that we can find with those particular letters, essentially. So print preview is there. So I can actually select that if I wanted to. Another one before I do so is to say, well, show me the paths for this thing. So I go, and notice as I type now, we're actually showing you where it is found. So if you really want to know where to find print preview, go to File. It's in the print panel of the ribbon, and it's print preview. We can go here, go File, the print panel, print preview. There it is. Magic, almost. So this search box, we can also do a recursive search in case, there's, it goes down even further. This is essentially a really nice search function. It's simple to describe and use, but boy, can it be really handy in practice when you have a demo like this where, in the middle of mail merge field codes. It would be kind of interesting. Where would I find field? And there we go. When you have your application, if your application is this complicated or complex a layout with lots of options and lots of particular features and so on and so forth, this can be a lifesaver for your users. Excellent. Right. Next up is the flowchart. What I want to do here is, let's make it full screen. So we've added to the flowchart since last time kind of 30 or more new shapes. And so we have some basic flowchart shapes. We have the basic shapes completely, lots of them and all the rest of it. There's even more shapes. We have software icons if you want to do that kind of thing. There's some of these are just wacky and weird and lovely, but there we go. There's also 20 or more new connectors that we've added to the flowchart control. Some of these, the arrow and the ellipse arrow and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, I've seen those. These, yeah, okay. The dashed connectors must be some kind of flow diagram I'm not particularly used to. But anyway, 20 or more new connectors. But not only all that, we've added support for what we're calling custom shapes. You can basically write a particular type of XML file, and you can then basically have your own custom shapes. You don't have to stick with what we provide. You can have fun shapes like these are kind of weird shapes, but that kind of work. The one I particularly like here at the moment is the 32-point star. Let me drag it down here a little bit so we can have some room. Now this has been around forever, where we can grow the bounding box of the shape itself. But the other thing that I want to show you now is the ability to transform the shape itself. Now, we're not just changing the bounding box, but the shape. Notice on some of these, there is a little yellow box here, and my mouse cursor changes to, when I hover over it, to this kind of plus sign. And now I can grab it and move it in and out, and I can change the shape according to where this particular box appears. So I can have a really sharp 32-point star, or maybe a little, not really a star at all. It's also available on some of the, where are we? I've forgotten where we were. Some of the other shapes as well. Let me find, oh no, here we are. Go over here. So we're calling this the adjustable geometry. So here's a box, 3D looking box, and I can grow it fine. And then I can change it into a very long box or a very short box. and so on and so forth. The L shape here is kind of fun because it has, two bounding boxes. I can change the vertical side, or no, it's the horizontal side, I apologize, and I can change the vertical side as well. So I can have a very thick vertical and a very thin. So the ability to transform the shape itself within the FlowChart control. Another feature that's, I'm afraid, is not really visible at the moment with GoToWebinar, and the fact that I'm running this 4K screen at 1920 by 1080 is anti-aliasing has been enabled by default. You can turn it off if you want to, but my recommendation is just leave it on. It works really well and gives your users a better look and feel. So that was the flowchart improvements. Oops. And the final one I want to talk about is the one I inadvertently showed earlier on. And that is our PDF viewer. It's essential for many apps, I would say, rather than having to shell out to some other application like Adobe Acrobat or one of the myriad other ones. Because it's a control, you can lock it down to a certain extent for your PDFs in your application. Anyway, we continue to enhance the PDF viewer with every major release, and this time around we've added the ability to show markup annotations and attachments. So here we are. Let's click on this. So we've got 3 attachments here. Let's go for opening that attachment. Now, yeah, obviously I get a security warning from Windows 10 here. I'll say yes. I kind of trust our team, and we show this particular attachment as it's a spreadsheet file, and we show it inside our spreadsheet control. So that's the support for attachments. Here's an annotation. Someone's added this particular annotation saying when only the best will do. The kind of markup annotations we include is just free-form text, text markup, so things like highlighting and underlining and all that. Square and circle line, polygon, polyline, and file attachment. Oh, the file attachment one is here. I can open that one. So this is a different one to this kind of attachment. And again, oh, there we go. Inside our own PDF viewer. So PDF viewer calling our PDF viewer to show this particular PDF attachment. So PDF viewer continues to improve, as I said. And with that particular demo, that's all I can really do visually for this particular webinar. So thank you. I basically have finished. So Amanda, what's been happening in the background?
Hey, Julian. So the team has answered all the questions.
Marvelous. Brilliant. I'm glad I had the team on. I didn't have to make anything up as I went along.
No. We did just have a question pop up, though.
Okay.
With regard to your cloud access components, such as file access for OneDrive and Google Drive, oh, it's a suggestion. I'd like to see support added for Dropbox.
So what we do here is you should, if you have a kind of feedback like that where I really need feature X, is to write to our support team, support@devexpress.com, and say, this is a suggestion I'd really like, in this case, Dropbox support inside the VCL subscription. What we do is we do look out for feedback from customers. It's a very important part of our planning, is to see what our customers are doing with our controls and what kind of difficulties they're running into because we don't have such and such a feature or such and such an enhancement. And that does play into how we plan for future major releases. Sometimes that, that feedback may be just a minor thing, so we just issue it in a minor release. But a lot of times what we have is, basically customer-supported enhancements, if you like. Customer-supported enhancements. I'll have to write a blog post about that. But yeah, provide us, with feedback. Send me an email. Here I am, Julian B@devexpress.com. And I'll pass it on to the team, or I can reply straight away. It doesn't matter. We do want to hear from our customers. We do like to hear how you're using our application, our controls in your applications, and yeah, go for it. Absolutely.
Let's see. Okay, so we do have some questions popping up. I don't know if you can see the Q&A.
Oh, hang on. Let me bring up the questions box here. Okay. Wow. Holy cow, we've got a few here. Okay. All right. So yes, one question which just popped up, which I deliberately steered clear of, and that is any news on FMX or FireMonkey, says Peter. And the answer is we're still working on FireMonkey controls. We're still finding issues, shall we say, with the basic FireMonkey layer, and that is causing us to be delayed. I have no firm news that I can give out at this particular moment in time. There was a bit of a discussion over the weekend about, whether I should demonstrate some FireMonkey control, but we're not ready. Basically all I can say, we're not ready yet to show off or to release as a CTP or beta. That's all I can say at the moment. What else have we got?
We did have somebody email a question, Julian, which I think I sent to you, but he's asking if we got it. So he says there's a real need for more beautiful data visualization aids in VCL.
We're talking here about charts, I presume.
Yes, charts, nice charting controls. In particular, donut charts. We would like to have these available in VCL.
So at the moment, our charting is part of the grid, and we've had some discussions about, if you like, extracting the charting capabilities out of the grid as a separate, I'm not going to say suite, but as a separate set of controls, so you can just use them without having to have a grid in the background and all the rest of it. It's one of those discussions. We're very mindful of what the VCL space is like, and especially with the charting package that you get anyway. So I'd rather not say any more than that. Yes, we have somewhere on somebody's machine a separate set of charts for VCL, but we're not quite sure what to do with them. He leaves that hanging in the air.
Yeah. He says, oy vey. Let's see. Calculated fields, expression editor on pivot grid.
I'd have to leave that to the team. Don't know.
Okay. See, I see there's some.
Let me see. Yeah.
Okay, Mike, so with your flowchart control question, the team is saying they need more details. They need sort of a use case scenario. So it might be something you need to email support.
Yeah, either email me or email support@devexpress.com. Either way, it'll get to the team. As I say, if you got some feedback about, oh, OMG, I really need this, and it seems like it should be there already or something like that, then just please give us the feedback. Send us an email so we can, take a look and go, smack someone's forehead or smack one's own forehead and say, yeah, we should have done that ages ago, or whatever it happens to be.
Okay. Okay. Do you see anything else, Julian?
Nope, I don't at the moment.
Okay.
No. Nope.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody, and good luck with 19.1. And as I say, please let us know.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Julian. All right. So like I did mention before, today's webinar will be available later on our DevExpress YouTube channel. I see some people said they popped in late or they missed some of the presentation. You can watch the whole thing later. You will receive a link in an email. While you're on our YouTube channel, please subscribe and also ring that little notification bell so that you know when we release new content. And again, you will also get a follow-up email with a link to this webinar recording. And that is it for this one. Thank you so much to Julian. Thank you all for joining us. And of course, thank you for choosing DevExpress. Bye-bye.